Hello students, welcome to this video. In my last video, I explained array representation of Q. Now in this video, I will explain link representation of Q. Now in the array representation of Q, there are some problems. The problem is that it has limited capacity. Also each insertion time, we have to check the overflow condition. Also another disadvantage is that array representation of Q, the data movement is expensive. Maintenance of the queue using array is also quite difficult. But in the link representation of queue, which is not limited capacity, as we know that in linked list we can insert as many nodes as the avail list can provide, isn't it? So in this case we need to check for overflow condition during insertion. So now we'll see one algorithm. There is a link representation of queue. So first we will see the insertion algorithm. So in the insertion algorithm, suppose queue is a linear queue and info is the information part of the queue. As we are using the linked list, isn't it? We are using the link representation of queue. So in the linked list, as we know, there are two parts. One part is the information part, another part is the link part. So info, which contains the information of the element, and link, which holds the address of the next node. Front and rear are the two pointer variables which indicate the front and rear position of the element. And avail, we also require avail in case of insertion and deletion. Avail is the available list which is in the memory, and item is the element which is to be inserted in the list. So as suppose this is the used queue or used list in the memory. Suppose this is the used list in the memory, and there are 4 nodes. These are the informations. These are the addresses, and so this address denotes the front position of the queue, and this address denotes the rear position of the queue. So here the value of front is 100 and the rear is 400. So along with this used list, the system will maintain an available list where the available blocks are there. Suppose these are the available blocks. Their addresses are 500, 600, 700. 500 is the address of the avail. Okay. Now in case of insertion, first we have to check the overflow condition, whether avail is null or not. If avail is null, then overflow, that means that avail is null, there is no block or nodes in the available list. So this condition will occur. And the second condition, if avail is not null, that means step 2 will execute. So set new equal to avail. So this is the new is avail. The address of new is 500. This block is new, and avail equal to link of avail. So this now avail points to the next node, and the new value of avail is what? New value of avail is 600. So avail is 600. We have to break the link here. So the new value of avail is 600. Next, set info of new equal to item. So we can insert, say the value of item is 66. So we can insert the insert 66 into the information part of new. So this is the information part of new. So suppose this is the element and link of new equal to null. So as I've already told, in case of inserting a node into the queue, always will insert at the rear position. That means if you compared it with the inserting an element into the linked list, so this makes that inserting a node at the end of the list, which is similar in case of linked list, there is inserting a node at the end of the list. So always when you insert a node, it will always go to the end of the list. So here we will put the cross sign because this indicates the end of the list, isn't it? Then we will check whether front is null or not, because front is null indicates that the link the list is or the queue is empty. So in case we have to set the values of front and rear to the new, and if the queue contains more than one node, then this line will execute set link of rear equal to new. There you see that set link of rear, this is the link part of new. So now it points to this node, it points to this node, isn't it? Set link of new, the link of new equal to, sorry, link of rear equal to new and rear equal to new. Now this new will become the rear. Okay, so finally first node, second node, third node, fourth node and the fifth node. Fifth node is the last node and the 500 is the values of the rear. So again if you insert a new node, always it will insert at the end of the list, that is at the rear position. So this is the algorithm of inserting a node in the queue. Now in case of deletion, because I have already told that when you delete a node from the queue, there is a link representation of queue, then it will delete a node from the beginning of the list, that is from the front of the list. So this node will delete. But in case of insertion, at the end of the list. So that means this is similar to that in linked list, there is delete a node from the beginning of the list. So here you see that suppose queue is the linked list, info is the information part of the node, link is the link which holds the address of the next node, front and rear which indicates that front position, the rear position of the node, item is the information which will delete from the queue, and temp is the temporary variable which temporarily holds the address of the first node. So we'll check the underflow condition. If front equal to none, that means the list is empty. So underflow condition will occur and exit from the system. Now suppose there you see that item equal to info of front. So that means information of part of front is what? Information part of front is 11. So 11 is the deleted item. Okay, suppose here you see, suppose this is the list. So I am again preparing a list. Suppose this is the front, this indicates that rear 100, 200, 300 and 100 is the information part of the, so the 100 is the address and below front is 100. So here you see that item equal to info of front. So info of front is what? 11. So 11 is the deleted item. Now set temp equal to front. So here you set temp equal to front. So this indicates temp. Okay, and front equal to link of front. Now the front will now point to the link of front. So here you have to break the link. Okay, now the new value of front is what? New value of front is 200, but the value of temp is 100. Here we are changing, using this line front equal to link of front, we are changing the value of front, because we have to delete this node from the queue. And now what we have to do, we have to bring back this node to the avail list. Suppose this is the avail list and this is the available block. This is the available block. The value of avail is 600. Now here you see that set link of temp. So this is the link of temp, because the value of temp is what? 100. So this denotes the temp. So set link of temp equal to avail. So this is point here, and avail equal to temp. So now this will point this temp node, temporary node. So now the new value of avail is what? New value of avail is 100. So this node will come to the available list. So this is how the deletion algorithm works. This is a link representation of queue. Okay, so our next topic is, now we move to that, our next topic is circular queue. So in the circular queue, here you see, so our next topic is circular queue. The circular queue is a linear data structure in which the operations are performed based on FIFO, there is first in first out, and the principle, and the last position is connected. Here you see that, suppose this is a queue, this is the queue, and this is the front position, this is the information. Here one of the important characteristics of the circular queue is that the last position or the link part of the last node is connected back to the first position or connected back to the first node. So that means the first node holds the address of the second node, there is 200. The first node holds the address of the second node, there is 200. The second node holds the address of the third node, there is 300. And the last node, third node, which holds the address 100. So this part holds 100 as a link or address. So this is a circular queue. Circular queue is a linear data structure in which the operation is performed like normal queue. There is FIFO principle, but the last position is connected back to the first position to make a circle. So this is how the circular queue represents. So in a linear queue, here one more thing is that in a linear queue we can insert elements until the queue becomes full. But once queue becomes full, we cannot insert the next element even if there is a space in front of the queue. Suppose we want to insert a new element into the linear queue. At the time the queue does not occupy the last part of the array. So if, for example, if rear equal to null, rear equal to n, there is the rear, if rear goes to the maximum position, then we cannot insert any element or insert any element or item further into the queue. But one way to do this is simply move the entire queue to the beginning of the list. Suppose here you see that, suppose if you consider the array representation of the queue 11, 22, 33, 44. So this is the front, this is the rear. Okay, now if we perform the deletion operation, so this node will delete or this element will delete, so front will come here. Here you see, again if you delete one more element, so this element will delete, front will come here. Now here you see, now the value of n is here 4 and the rear is at its maximum position, there is 4, there is rear equal to n equal to 4. Now you check or you see, so this, once this nodes or this item deletes, we will not get its position That is, if you want to insert one more item into the array, there is queue. The queue will give us message that queue is full, but still there are two blank spaces are there in the queue, but still we cannot. Or one way we do this is simply we move the entire queue, or this move queue to the beginning of the array. There is 33 will come here and 44 will come here, but changing front and rear accordingly, and then we can insert the element. But this procedure is very expensive, because we know that insertion deletion in an array is quite expensive compared to the linked list. So another procedure is that we can assume that the array is circular. There is the first position, there is that first position comes after nth position, first position comes after fourth position. In this way we can represent the array. So that means first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, like this you can rotate the array. So but there are two more algorithms are also there. There is a circular queue representation using array. So I'm not going to explain this one, you do it by yourself. There is insertion, circular queue representation using array, the insertion algorithm and the deletion algorithm. But the circular queue representation using linked list is not required. You simply go through this first. Circular queue representation using array only. Now there is also difference linear queue. Linear queue is the normal queue, and that circular queue, I have already given you the notes. You go through the notes, the difference between circular queue and the linear queue. And also DQ, that is double-ended queue. What is double-ended queue? A double-ended queue is a linear list in which elements can be deleted at either end but not in the middle. Insertion or the deletion. Suppose this is the array representation of the queue. So we can insert an element, we can insert or delete an element at both the end, that is from left and from right also. So from the, suppose this is the A, B are the information or the item of the in the double-ended queue, and here this A, this position indicates that left position, and this position indicates that right position. So we can insert here also, we can insert here also, we can delete this node also, we can delete this node also. So from any end we can insert or delete a node, but not in the middle. So the term DQ is a contradiction of the name double-ended queue. So DQ, double-ended queue, and DQ can be implemented or maintained using circular array or circular queue with, there is the left pointer and the right pointer, which are the two ends of the DQ. So this is an example of double-ended queue. So one more queue, a category of queue is also there. So in DQ you simply go through the definition only, and also there is one more category of queue. There is a priority queue. As its name suggests, that priority. A priority queue is a collection of elements. Suppose this is a queue. These are the information. These are the information. So a priority queue is a collection of elements such that each element has been assigned a priority. So against each element we will assign this priority such that the order in which the elements are deleted and processed comes from the following rules. Following rules means number one, that we can insert an element of higher priority that is processed before any element of lower priority. So we can insert it in the middle of the list also, middle of the queue. We can insert here also, you can insert here also, we can insert here also. So we can insert anywhere in the list based on its priority. So in case of insertion we will put a priority value against a priority value against a block or priority value against an item, say accordingly it will be inserted. So that is an element of higher priority is processed before any element of lower priority. Number two elements with the same priority. Now in case of, suppose we want to insert 55 and 66 and both these item has the same priority. Priority say suppose x is the priority value of 55 and x is also the priority value of 66. So in case of this item, because both the items is the same priority value, so two elements with the same priority value are processed according to the order in which they are added to the queue. That is first come first serve basis. So if 55 comes before 66, then 55 we will insert first, then 66 will insert. So like this first come first serve basis, we can remove this conflict. So with this I conclude the data structure unit 2, and from my next video I will explain the data structure unit 3. Okay.